So today I'm going to tell you a story, our EVSC story. As you enter today, you were greeted by the sounds of the string ensemble that is a much smaller version of our 80-piece high school honors orchestra. Also, as you entered the building, and as you may see on your tables, we have many skilled and creative student artists in our schools, and it's our pleasure to feature their talents for you this afternoon also. So during the next 45 minutes, I'll share stories of some of the great things happening in our schools and how the EVSC is redefining education through gain, which is our overall approach to education. And I'll also introduce you to some extremely talented students, both on video and in person, who will tell you about their story. And by the end of today's program, I hope that you will agree with me that this community should be extremely proud of its school system. But before I get started, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment or two to thank some of the individuals who have made our story possible. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge our Board of School Trustees members who are here with us today and are leading us in this work. Thank you to President Rance Ossenberg, to Vice President Chris Kiefer, to members Mike Duckworth. Mike, I understand there's something else in your life going on today. Not too surprised that you're here, but in 22 years of board membership, you have never missed a school board meeting. That's pretty phenomenal. Also, thank you for being here, Reverend Terry Gamblin, Andy Greeno, and Karen Ragland. Was your special moment sitting in a lecture hall listening to a teacher? Probably not likely. I would guess that most of you thought about a certain experience, perhaps a moment that had a powerful impact and perhaps that helped shape the person that you are today. And maybe you thought about playing in that big game. Maybe you thought about performing in the marching band or perhaps being on the stage for your school musical. Or maybe you remember a time with that special teacher who always challenged you and yet always believed in you. Well, these are the very experiences and the moments that matter and stay with us. And I'm so fortunate to be part of a school system that understands the power of moments and the lifelong impact these moments have on all of our students. So speaking of moments, look at that yellow car buzzing around the track. That is this yellow car right here. And I want to share the first story with you. About 2 weeks ago, we had a group of 10 students from Central High School travel to Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California to compete in the International Cell Eco competition. Yes, that is correct, Sonoma, California, to compete in an international competition. Now, these students have worked together for the last year to ready their super mileage car for the competition in the battery electric prototype division. And let me tell you, they were not just competing against other high schools. Think about universities like Duke and UCLA. In fact, Central was the only high school in their category. And as you can see, Central High School finished 4th. I know that the print's a little small here, but if you take a look at the screen, you can see some of the other schools. And I think it's really worth repeating that they were the only high school in their category competing against universities and colleges and universities on an international stage. I'm guessing that this is a moment that these students will not soon forget. I'd like to introduce Brad Lamey, their instructor, as well as the Central Mileage team. Thank you for being here, folks. Outstanding. Now, let me go back just for a second to your moment. For many of us, that moment included a teacher, one that made a connection with you, one that made learning fun and relatable. As we all know, we cannot have great schools without great teachers, and we are truly blessed to have phenomenal teachers who care deeply about our students and their families. And this was evidenced by the recent Vandenberg County Educator of the Year Awards. For the 3rd year in a row, EVSC had the winning educator in every category. I'd like to take a moment to recognize all 4 winners who are with us here today. If you could please stand. Michelle Branson Bopp, who is the principal at Washington Middle School. Her picture is on the screen. John Carl, teacher at Wrights High School. Doug Goodwin, teacher at Healthy Park STEM Academy, as well as Amber Santana, who is a teacher at Glenwood Leadership Academy. Congratulations to all. And since today we're talking about stories, I want you to imagine a classroom where you have that magical bond with your teacher, where the lessons are relevant, engaging, and interesting. The type of class where you can help direct your own learning. A classroom where your teacher knows where you struggle and where you excel. And one where your school works tirelessly to build up in your dreams and aspirations that you have. And this is why we work diligently each and every day to ensure that all EVSC classrooms look like this, because these are in part the ingredients that maximize learning and life outcomes. The EVSC is truly in the middle of a paradigm shift in education. We know more now than ever about how students learn and the conditions that must be present for learning to take place. In the past, schools expected all students to adapt to them, to adapt to the way teachers taught and the way schools functioned. Well, this is no longer the case in the EVSC. We know that for all students to truly excel, to achieve to their maximum potential, we must create the conditions for learning so that students of all abilities succeed. The teachers in the EVSC know that making connections with students is key to creating the optimal conditions for learning. This may seem really like a pretty basic concept, but emerging brain research makes it so clear that the conditions a student has in his or her life directly impact brain development and learning. So why connections? Well, connections calm the brain and help students learn. We know the level of student learning increases when educators connect and build caring relationships with students. So let me give you an example. Think about a student who perhaps had kind of a bad morning. Mom or dad are running around trying to get themselves ready. They're on their phone checking the email, and their young son is tired. So mom and dad are pretty frustrated with him because he just will not cooperate. Well, finally, they get to school just as the bell rings and the student runs into his class a couple of minutes late. Sound familiar? Do you think with this routine the student is calm, alert, and ready to learn? Once again, not likely. It's now our job to help calm that student and all students by intentionally preparing their brain for learning. And that is where the paradigm shift in education resides. And while I would really love to go into the essential elements of this work, we unfortunately don't have the time in the scope of this presentation to even scratch the surface. But I can share this with you. When stress decreases, learning increases. And this intentionality with emerging neuroeducational research is the fundamental part of our overall approach to education that we call GAIN. With the help of our partners such as Mass Insight and Learning Sciences International, we are being intentional about creating the environments that best fit the needs of all students. While many school districts in the country may still be focused solely on instructional practices of the past, we know in the EVSC that just teaching a student more math doesn't mean the student will actually get better in math. GAIN combines academic instruction with emergent social-emotional learning in order to maximize outcomes for each and every one of our students. It's been well documented that EVSC was a leader in offering full-day kindergarten, was a leader in offering an early learning program, and in a minute you're going to hear a little bit more about that, and is a leader in offering early learning opportunities for the children of our employees. And as we also were the first to roll out a one-to-one technology initiative, ensuring that all students have access to their own student laptop, as well as interactive whiteboards in all of our classrooms. And we had one of those on display out in the hallway. But being a leader is more than being first. Outstanding educational organizations must be committed to continuous improvement and to creating optimal learning conditions in order to maximize student success. Because of our commitment to continuous improvement, we know we must continue to think about education differently. This is not the same school environment you may remember when you were a student. For example, we now understand the value and importance of early childhood education. And for the past decade, we have invested heavily in early learning and have expanded our programming to include more young students than ever before. We currently serve 360 students in 18 classrooms in our early learning program, and this includes pre-K students as well as infants and toddlers. And this fall, we will expand to 32 classrooms with the opening of We Care. We Care is our early learning centers for the children of our EVSC employees. Because not only do we understand the importance of quality learning experience for young children, but we also know that many of our employees, that for many of them, finding early learning quality programs is just incredibly difficult. And as an organization that understands the need to support our workforce, we made the decision to develop the We Care program. We know our people make the difference, and this benefit will make us even more attractive to outstanding young educators. Now, it isn't enough to say that you're innovative. Your actions truly do speak to your beliefs. Take a look in our classrooms and you will see this at work. We certainly took the latest research into account as we worked with Hafer to design our new McCutcheonville Elementary School. As you will hear in an upcoming video, we intentionally designed the building to enhance and maximize student learning. We do have a bond rating of AA+. Just want to get that in there. But paying cash for a new state-of-the-art facility took several years of dedicated financial planning. And we also have invested considerable time into the research and planning for the design of the new school based upon how students learn. Take a listen.
It's a celebration of bringing two schools together to really, as I said, just kick off that year of where learning is really going to come to life with new experiences and opportunities, maybe things that they haven't experienced before, but just new faces and a lot of excitement.
I feel privileged to have been working on this project since the very beginning because I know that when students show up the first day of school, there's going to be a level of excitement that we can't even imagine right now for our students and our families. We've really been intentional about creating a learning space that is going to be meaningful for our students today and years to come, and really keeps in mind what we know in education is important for our students. So I am just so excited about the learning opportunities that are going to take place here for our community.
Schools operate differently than they used to, and students also learn differently than they did years ago. So we wanted this building to be able to serve students now and into the future.
Every part of this building is a place for learning for students. So not only are kids learning everywhere, including the classroom, they're learning in collaborative spaces, they're learning in the outdoor classrooms, they're learning in the learning commons, they're learning in the tiered spaces.
I think the thing that in any transition I value the most is building relationships, because I feel like I want people to walk in and feel welcomed. I want it to be a goosebump school where they feel that family, they feel that positive culture and climate. And I think that that's where you have to start with anything, is building positive relationships.
I would like to thank the school board for having the vision to build a building like this, and for the previous school board that had the foresight to buy this property where this building now sits. That property was purchased almost 20 years ago, and it was exactly where it was needed when we needed to build this building.
What made this different is we became the students. We didn't become the teachers. Schools in the past have always been teacher focused. Where's the desk going to be? How's the teacher going to get between the chalkboard and the whatever? This is more about, I'm the student. How am I going to learn? What are the places and spaces that will challenge me as a student? And that's what we became as we were designing this building. I've been involved in lots of different projects with a lot of different clients. And for us, I don't think I can't ever say I've been involved in another project where the client themselves has been more dedicated to finding the right answers than this one.
Jeff just to stand so we can acknowledge his tremendous contribution to not only the school but our entire community. Jeff, thank you. We know that preparing students to enter school ready to learn is extremely important for a successful transition into K-12 education. But how well do we really prepare students to enter the workforce or college? As a school system, we have always been and always will be laser focused on preparing students to enter a four-year institution, and rightfully so. For students who are preparing for careers that require post-secondary degrees, we must prepare them to be successful at the university level. However, is that the only and the best path for every student? Once again, this is where we're looking at education differently than in the past. Research shows that 82% of the job openings in our region will not require a four-year degree. And these job openings are high-wage, high-demand jobs. What's more, we know that more than 40% of all students in our nation who attend a four-year institution will not graduate with a degree. As a school system and as a community, we have to change our thinking when it comes to what success really looks like for our students. And this is exactly why we created Opt-in, which stands for Opportunities Through Partnerships that Transform and Inspire. I want to thank the partners listed on this slide that are committed to Opt-in and engaged as members of the Opt-in Advisory Council. Our partners are committed because they know this work is about changing lives and having a positive impact on our community. Now, while Opt-in is just a few months old, it is already having a very positive impact on students' lives. I'd like to share with you a story of one of the students who has already been supported by Opt-in. There is a senior in high school who is currently working in a lower wage position. His plan, well, he wants to graduate and continue working at this job, even though he knows it will be difficult to make a living on his current wage. And frankly, he really didn't know his options. And more school, certainly was not of interest to him. So after meeting with the team from Opt-in, this student learned about Silgan, a company that's on the west side that makes packaging for very, very prestigious food companies. And this company sounded very interesting to the student, and his hope for the future was reignited. So let's go through this timeline together. The student meets with Opt-in based upon a referral from his teacher. Opt-in then helps the student assess his strengths and his interests and his needs. Opt-in then learns about this opportunity and contacts the student, who is immediately granted an interview and is tentatively offered a position on a Monday. The student was then asked to attend a plant tour on Thursday and to finalize employment details. Now, while this is going on, Opt-in is in the background providing support and helping the student through the process with interviews, resumes, things of that nature. Then Opt-in is also reinforcing the employability school of punctuality and reminding the student of the importance of being there Thursday on time so that this job opportunity is not lost. Well, Thursday comes around and tragically, this student's dad passes away. However, because of the tremendous level of commitment this student has developed, as well as his excitement about the opportunity, he still shows up for that plant tour on Thursday, the very day his father passes away. And he's able to finalize the process for getting that job. That is amazing. This student's going to start at Silgan right after graduation, start making $15.80 an hour. After 16 days, his pay increases to $18.50 an hour, and he'll receive full benefits. Just imagine the impact that Opt-in has had on this individual's life. I would think it would be safe to say that his entire life has been improved And he's not alone. Silgan has already hired 2 other students and is looking to hire more. And more great news, if these individuals decide to pursue additional training and education, Silgan is one of our regional companies that provides educational assistance for their employees so they can continue their post-secondary training without the burden of student loans. As you can see, opt-in is our way of aligning and leveraging talents and interests so every student knows his or her aptitudes and passions. We then marry those skills and interests to career options, but we don't stop there. We go a step further and educate the students and their parents on what it takes to be eligible for those careers, and then connect those students with universities and our employers in our area. Opt-in will be a great asset for students who are looking for good jobs with potential for advancement, as well as for local employers who need to fill positions that enable them to continue to grow. And of course, we're not doing this work alone. Opt-in will only be successful with community collaboration. Together, we will play a role in the ongoing improvement of our community by positioning students for lifelong success in their career pathways of their passion. Now, please don't confuse opt-in with our Southern Indiana Career and Technical Center, which is EVSC's Career and Technical School. They are rated, as I hope you know, among the top 5 career and technical schools in the entire nation. And I hope you also know that they offer 22 courses in 10 areas of study, including computing, automotive, advanced manufacturing, culinary arts, just to name a few. And by the way, the culinary arts program is named one of the top 50 in the nation. The Southern Indiana Career and Tech Center is about teaching specific skills that students can use. Opt-in is about expanding student knowledge on career opportunities and connecting them with potential employers and our universities. Now, career and technical education is just one of the facets of the EVSC. As a district, we do understand the importance of providing a multitude of rigorous course options for to challenge our students. And the EVSC offers more advanced placement courses and dual credit courses than anyone in the region. In fact, we were one of only 20 districts in Indiana to be named to the Advanced Placement Honor Roll because of the large number of AP courses that we offer, combined with the large number of students who pass the AP test with high scores. Now, along with providing courses that challenge and engage students, I'm also proud to tell you that more than 4,500 students had the opportunity to take either the PSAT or the SAT test this year, thanks to the EVSC Foundation. In our ongoing effort to close achievement and opportunity gaps, we decided to fund the PSAT test for all 8th and 9th graders and the SAT test for all juniors. There is compelling research that that because of these actions, our students will do better over time because of this investment. And it gets even better. Our students have the unique opportunity to link their PSAT scores with the Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a nonprofit that provides online learning resources for students. So when 8th and 9th grade students take the PSAT, they will not only receive their scores, but our students will also have the opportunity to link their results to the Khan Academy to receive free targeted learning plans to practice the skills necessary to increase their understanding. So by providing this access, EVSC and the EVSC Foundation are truly making the difference in our students' lives. So what else do we offer our students? We offer many innovative programs that were created to mirror student interest and to provide additional options for students to give them a choice in their learning. Our Shepherd Academy for Law and Social Justice, named after former Indiana Chief Justice Randall Shepherd, is for students who are interested in leadership, law, and/or social justice. And the International Baccalaureate program is one of only 22 in the state and is for students who want a rigorous liberal arts education. Our Early College High School allows students to graduate with an associate's degree at the same time they're earning a high school diploma. And since this program began, 60 students have earned their associate's degree while in high school, and an additional 80 students have been able to enter post-secondary with their entrance as a college sophomore. As a parent, I would love that. Our virtual academy, which has received national attention, is open to students in grades K through 12. Students can take an entire course load, or they can take courses for advancement. And we also have the Junior ROTC program, which is rated as Gold Star by the United States Army. And this is the highest honor that the Army can bestow. We also have New Tech Institute, which is our standalone high school that for the third consecutive year has been named National Demonstration Site and an exemplary school by the National New Tech Network. New Tech is one of only 6 national sites across the country to achieve this designation, ranking them among the top 1% of New Tech schools in the entire nation. And they, along with the Healthy Park STEM Academy and the Southern Indiana Career and Technical Center, are STEM certified schools as designated by the Indiana Department of Education. So just to put this in perspective, we have 1,925 schools in the state. Only 3% earn that STEM designation from IDOE, and EVSC has 3 of those schools in our district. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Medical Professions Academy. Listen for a moment while MPA students and staff tell you their story.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Why don't you start by telling me your name and spell it for me, please?
My name is Johanna Lasher.
I'm Allie Wilderman. My name is Mallory Sandulo.
My name's Emma Cowan-Scott.
Next year, I'm studying exercise science and I want to get my doctorate in occupational therapy. I like that I get to have say in what I am studying. Like in our research class, we each got to choose our own topic over what we wanted to do our research over, what we do our presentation over, who we wanted to shadow, and all of that. So I do have some say in what I am learning about.
I want to be an ER nurse, so I'm going to school for nursing. My favorite thing about MPA is that we get to focus on things that we're interested in doing out of high school. So we're all interested in doing something either in research or science or in the medical field, so we get to focus on that a little bit while the other kids really wouldn't if they're in their regular classes. So that's a good thing that I like about MPA. I want to be an OBGYN and go on to own my own practice, so I'm pre-med and a biology major right now. We learn at a very quick pace, and it's all about the intricate details of the human body, so it's harder to understand, but whenever you do understand, it's really amazing to see how everything fits together. But I was leaning towards zoology, and as soon as I got in here and got some more shadowing, I leaned towards the human side of medicine. So I like being in a group of like-minded people all learning about sciences.
I'm going to be studying biomedical engineering, and then I want to use my biomedical engineering degree to help create like innovative medical devices for low cost for low-income families, and then I also want to go to medical school. I was always really interested in sciences, but I never really knew what I wanted to do in science. I just knew I needed it to be science. And MPA explores so many different areas that I was able to come in freshman year and start exploring different career fields in our Principles of Biomedical Sciences class, and that allowed me to figure out the path I wanted to go down, and then MPA had the resources for me to go shadow people.
One of the things we've been able to do for the last couple of years is even bring them down to Nashville so they get to see what an academic medical center is like. They meet young men and women who are training to be physicians, scientists, pharmacists in an environment that's focused not only on clinical care but also on discovery. They get to spend time in our clinical research center where our research nurses do an amazing job. They basically close part of the clinical research center, and the students have an opportunity to learn what it's like to ask questions and make discoveries based on looking at patients. So it's a real unique opportunity, and we want them to see that breadth that's available to them so that they can align with their particular passion.
I believe that students learn science by doing science, and so if they're able to get hands-on with the concepts that we're trying to get them to understand, they're going to have a much better, deeper, fundamental understanding of those concepts after the lab.
One-of-a-kind program, and we are extremely proud to have it in our schools. And through programs like these, we are truly creating those moments for students and impacting their lives, helping them to write their own story by giving them opportunities that they may not otherwise have had. Now, switching gears just a bit, earlier we talked about our work to increase student ownership in their learning. We know that students who are committed to their work and have ownership in it perform better. What does that really mean? You know, at the high school level, one of the ways we measure successful students is by class rank and GPA. But research indicates that an unweighted GPA is not really the best indicator of that work. And after talking to high school students, I can tell you they don't believe it is either. So as you may have heard, we announced this year that we are moving to a weighted grading system. This means a student's GPA will still be calculated on a sliding scale, with grades in our advanced placement, dual credit, and IB courses on a differentiated scale than regular classes. And before this move, GPAs were calculated by grades only. No factor was provided for the rigor of the courses taken. So in theory, you could have a student taking multiple AP and dual credit courses who had a GPA of perhaps a 3.8, but they would still be behind a student in a class rank who had a 4.0 but had taken all regular courses. We devoted considerable time to researching this question. We discovered that had we moved to weighted grades last year, that 70% of our students' GPAs would have actually increased. We also found that no student GPAs would have decreased, and that by eliminating class rank, it would actually have a positive impact on gaining entrance to post-secondary institutions. With all of these opportunities, great moments are happening with our students. We see an increase in student learning. We see an increase in student engagement. If you would, please look at the following charts. This is a chart that lists 9 other similarly situated peer districts in Indiana, and they're ranked according to the pass rates on both English and math on the I-STEP exam. So if you would, let's focus on that year of 2012. EVSC was ranked 5th among our peers. 2013, still ranked 5th, but now watch the magic happen. Now 4th, now 3rd, now 2nd. Do you see any other school district moving up? You frankly don't. And these are similarly situated school corporations. Now, I'm going to save the suspense. No, it didn't happen. But let's look at this next slide, because this now breaks those ratings down even further into individual grade levels. And this would be the peer district I-STEP ratings in 2016 based upon grade levels. If you look at EVSC, 2nd in the 3rd, 2nd, 2nd. But I think what this slide demonstrates in 2017, as you can see, the longer we have the students, the better their performance. There is no other district that can say that. Now, we'll be happy to accept that. And then as these numbers flashed in front of you, 43, 59, 68, 74, anybody know what those numbers represent? Should be one person in the room that knows. Those numbers are the spring iRead scores from Glenwood Leadership Academy. You know, much has been in the media over the years about failing schools in Indiana as well as in the nation. And I can promise you this, Glenwood is not a failing school. Glenwood is a success story, and it's our community's success story. It's a story of how school improvement takes time and takes resources, but it is possible. And Glenwood is living proof that it can and has been happening. I'd like to introduce you to Tamara Skinner, the principal of Glenwood. Thank you, Tamara. You know, we can talk about statistics all day, but as you know, our kids are not numbers. They should never be reduced to numbers. So now I'd like to introduce to you Emily Chamness. She's a product of your public school system. Emily is here to tell you her own story about her journey through the EVSC and the moments that have shaped Emily's life. Emily?
Thank you, Dr. Smith. As a senior in high school, applying to many colleges, I have been told countless times that colleges and scholarship committees seek well-rounded students. This means that they are not only looking for students that can perform well academically, but are also involved in extracurricular activities outside of school that help them develop communication, leadership, and time management skills that may not be as easily taught in the classroom. EVSC has helped me to become a well-rounded student by not only offering a great variety of dual credit and AP classes, but also by offering numerous extracurricular activities that I have been able to participate in over the years. Some AP classes offered at Wrights that I have taken include AP English Language, AP English Literature, AP US History, AP Calculus, AP Statistics, AP Chemistry, and AP Biology. But don't worry, not all at the same time. During my time at Wrights High School, I've been in many activities such as the speech team, science academic team, orchestra, a string quartet, choir, and an a cappella group called Uptown Blue. However, my main extracurricular activity throughout high school has been theater. Communication and teamwork are both essential in succeeding in theater. After all, without either, there would be no show. Being involved in theater at Wrights High School, as well as in the EVSC PEF Summer Musical, has allowed me to develop both these skills and so much more. Because theater preparation requires so much collaboration, the long rehearsals needed for every show have helped me to learn how to successfully cooperate with others, manage my time, and build lifelong friendships. These skills, communication, collaboration, and cooperation, are all essential to thrive not only in high school, but also in college, and especially in the workforce. Participating in fine arts has also helped me to build a strong work ethic, self-confidence, and leadership skills that have assisted me to be successful in all of my high school classes. I've been able to carry these various skills over to my academics and studies. I'm never afraid to ask questions, and I'm often the leader of group projects. Being able to work well with others and possessing a strong dedication are essential in thriving in those tough dual credit and AP classes that EVSC offers. Without the time management skills that I learned through theater, I would not have been able to maintain my 4.0 GPA while taking 4 AP classes and 1 dual credit class last year, and 3 AP classes with 2 dual credit classes this year. This next fall, I will be attending the University of Southern Indiana as a presidential scholar to major in nursing with a career goal to be a nurse practitioner. The communication, teamwork, leadership, and work ethic skills that I have learned are critical to everyone who decides to pursue medicine, since doctors and nurses often have to work in teams to help their patients. These skills will also help me to become a more compassionate and dedicated nurse. I'm sure you've noticed that I haven't said anything about being in sports. Nothing against athletics, but that just goes to show the depth and breadth of so many other opportunities and the time needed for my studies that I didn't have any time left for sports, even at Wrights High School. But I do know many of my friends that have been very successful thanks to similar skills that they have gained through participating in athletics. I hope that you have sensed a common theme here. EVSC has provided me with so much, and I feel very confident for the next chapter of my educational career. I have to also thank all of my great teachers who have pushed me and have been patient with me. I can't name just a few without naming them all. So, thank you, EVSC teachers, thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you, EVSC Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Tell you, Emily, when I grow up, I hope I'm as poised and mature as you are. Well, as you heard from Emily, fine arts has had a profound impact on her life. And I'm so proud of the work of EVSC and what EVSC has done through our commitment to the fine arts. So let me share just a few stats with you. To have quality programs, you have to be willing to make an investment before you see the results. And to that end, we have hired 15 additional teachers due to our growing enrollment in our fine arts programs. And since the school board returned instrumental music instruction to the 5th grade, we have purchased over $2 million worth of new instruments. This last year, it's paying off. 1,055 students received a superior rating, the highest rating possible at the annual solo and ensemble contest. And the number of students that are participating in our honors fine arts program has grown to 851. While we're on the topic of fine arts, of honors programs, so Eric, this is your cue. It's my pleasure to introduce to you a very talented group of musicians. This group performed for you 2 years ago, and since so many of you asked that they return, we simply could not resist. So, turn around, enjoy, understand these are high school students, and backed by popular demand, the EVSC High School Honors Jazz Band under the direction of Eric Scales. Belli, trumpet solo. Thank you so much, EVSC Honors Jazz Band. On your tables are EVSC story booklets, 3D EVSC logos that were printed by the Norris Project Lead the Way class, and CDs that contain a few musical selections of our honors programs. Please feel free to take these with you today. And finally, thank you for your attendance today, as I realize everyone in this room is incredibly busy. Your presence is greatly appreciated. You know, my goal during the State of the Schools presentations, it really is to invite you into our classrooms, into our schools, and into our programs so that you can see for yourself the incredible work that's being done. So I hope you can see why I'm so proud of our staff, of our students and families, as I've shared our story with you today. It is very humbling and truly a blessing to be able to represent you, to be able to serve you, and to be able to participate in the incredible moments that we've shared today, and for those moments that are yet to come. Thank you so much. God bless.